Welcome, this is Shakti Karula Nevrin. I'm your online astrologer. I live on Maui and I have been doing astrology for 40 years now, and I feel very passionate about it. So if you have been following me, you can tell. And the passion has to do with how helpful astrology is to get to know yourself better, to dip into your highest potentials, because in astrology we do know that we all do live our chart. The question is just, is it on the low end side of possibilities or the high end side of possibilities? So my intention with these forecasts is to lay it all out, so to give you the high perspective overview, to give you better choices, so you can find better, more evolved, easier flowing ways to implement your potentials in life. So these forecasts I'm doing, and today I'm going to talk about the new moon in Capricorn. You always have to bring back the information, which is kind of general information, back into the context of your own chart and see what's activated right now. So today with the new moon in Capricorn, so we're going to talk about a lot about Capricorn qualities and the low end and the high end and what to do with it. So everybody who has any planets in Capricorn, like the Sun in Capricorn, Moon, Ascendant or any other planets, is going to be especially strongly impacted by this new moon. So I do believe to be prepared is always a good way to learn how to surf the celestial waves. And here living on Maui, every child knows you can't fight a wave, but you can learn how to surf it. So that's what evolutionary astrology and especially the forecast is all about, to get you prepared for life in a better way. So we're talking about the new moon coming up in a week on the 28th of December, and it's happening in Capricorn at 10:53 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at 8 degrees in Capricorn. So note, if you know where your Sun or other planets are, so closer it is, so stronger the impact will be. But with Capricorn and the new moon, it's like it's an invitation by the celestial forces for you to start anew, to step into another level of that personal spiral of evolution we are all in. So a new moon by definition is always when the Sun and the Moon are in conjunction, and when we have a solar eclipse, it's even more obvious. So there is this moment of darkness and the forces realigning themselves in a new way. And then a new cycle of the moon throughout the month starts, and the moon goes through each sign about 2 days. So the new moon kind of kicks that off, that emotional round of maturation, because the moon is so connected to our inner world, to the way we feel, we filter the world emotionally. So being prepared goes a long way. Okay, so what's special about this new moon? First of all, today, when I'm doing this recording for you, we have the Winter Solstice. And the Winter Solstice is when the Sun steps into Capricorn. So that's kind of one of the four corner posts in astrology when the energies truly shift. So the Winter Solstice is kind of my favorite one, because it's really symbolizing the light, the shift towards the light, the coming out of the darkness of a long, relentless winter, and the darkness and the depression and all that. And there is light, there is a first inkling that there is a shift happening with the Winter Solstice. So it's always very helpful to do a little ritual, because it's also almost like in between the years. And I'm going to do a preview for the coming year next week. So if you sign up for my newsletter, I can keep you in the loop. Where was I? Well, forgot my train of thoughts here, having a senior moment. Anyway, the special thing about this new moon is that it's happening in conjunction with the Mercury retrograde. So happening in Capricorn. So it's an invitation to revisit degrees and inner places we have already been in. So, now I remember what it was. So with the winter solstice, I suggest that you kind of sit down and really contemplate about the year 2016 and what has happened for you personally in your life. I'm not talking about the political and all the stuff out there we obviously can't do much about, but really look back into your own life and what happened and how you move towards the goals you probably have set yourself for last year. So I'm sure there are things you would like to let go, to not hang on to, like areas you got too attached to, and it's always very powerful to write these things down and burn them. So do a little winter solstice fire ritual with your friends. Come together, make it a special day. And if you don't have that opportunity to join a group event in your community, then make sure you do something special for yourself today. So Mercury is our filter to understanding the world around us. It's our perceptual way to be in the world. So with the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, it's a good timing till the 8th of January, then when it turns direct, to be extra cautious with certain things. Everything related to computers, to electrical equipment. Travels might be more challenging. You might lose your luggage, or the airline loses it. It's a good thing to take an overnight bag with you, because you might get stuck somewhere on the way. So that's this kind of time of the year. Okay, so the idea with all these things going on in Capricorn is that there is a concentration, a focus into what's truly important for you in your life. So the idea is, with the winter solstice, that there is a return of the light, of the life-giving life. I don't know if you ever saw this Penguin movie where they're in the Arctic and they huddle together in a group to keep each other warm, and the outer would go to the inner circle so everybody could survive. And then there is this moment when the sun rises the first time after that excruciating time of darkness and fierce coldness. So, and then the whole group, which has huddled together, they all turn towards the sun. So it's the most precious moment in that movie, and it always reminds me towards what's happening the end of the year with the Capricorn energy. So this year it's especially impactful because of the Mercury retrograde, which kind of tends to throw sticks into our wheels. And there is Pluto, the god of death and transformation, which brings a lot of intensity in the sign of Capricorn. And now we have the new moon. So lots of action around Capricorn energies. So I want to give you some ideas what you can do in a very concrete way. So first of all, Capricorn is the symbol of the elder. So obviously on the high end there is some kind of maturation happening, some kind of integration, which then enables Capricorn to make wiser, more educated, more mature decisions. So that's kind of what we're striving for, to get that clarity, that overview, that depth, that focus onto what's truly important. And usually with Christmas coming and all that, obviously the realization what's truly important are the people in your life, your family, your close historical family you came out of, but also the family you created around yourself. And if you are not married or don't have children, then I would consider your close family, your friends, people who are your chosen family. So with that wise high-end quality of Capricorn come some qualities like the ability to say no, and sometimes no counts as a whole sentence because it's about setting boundaries. And usually, at least we women are not so good at setting boundaries. So in the physical system, the boundaries are separating us from others and keeping us together is our skin. And what keeps us upright is our skeleton. So that's Saturn, Capricornian qualities. So boundaries are important to learn about with Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign of clarity. It's a minimalist. So you could also look at it, it's a good time to do some decluttering, to streamline and simplify areas in your life. I started to go through my drawers in my kitchen the other day. So it always feels very successful to have these clean drawers there after a while. So these are kind of things. But it's not only the physical environment and space you're living in, it's really a lot about your mental space and decluttering and really refocusing on what's truly important to you in your life. So also Capricorn rules time. Capricorn is a timekeeper. So astrology is kind of has an interesting connection with Capricorn because in astrology we're very concerned with time, but not so much with measuring time which has passed, but more with the quality of time. So you know that to make a birth chart, we as astrologers we need to know the date, the time, and the place of birth. So with that we are able to create the birth chart and look at the quality of that new beginning, which is kind of the seed, the blueprint of what wants to evolve out of that moment of that fresh new beginning. So here with our new beginning, I'm going to pull up the chart here. You can't see it, but I can talk to you about it. So here we have not only Mercury and Pluto and the Moon and the Sun and Capricorn, but also the Pluto is in a white square to Jupiter on one side and Uranus on the other side. It's what we call a T-square. So Jupiter is always about expansion and the higher wisdom perspective and stepping out of the comfort zone. So it's always on the high end about growth. And Uranus is the revolutionary, the one who steps out of the usual way of doing things. And we could also say Uranus is a god of lightning, squaring off with the god of death and rebirth, Pluto, with Jupiter, the all-over, bigger-than-life kind of guy. So we have some strong energy pushing onto this new moon we're looking out for. One important thing which helps us to really decide on how we want to navigate these Capricornian energies is to look at where the South Node and the North Node is. So in the personal chart, that is an expression of where our karmic energies are, our patterns, our unresolved issues, which are ripened in this lifetime. So the South Node in the evolutionary perspective plays a big role in describing what you came in for in this lifetime. And the North Node describes your spiritual destiny, your healing, your medicine for this lifetime. And of course, in any given moment, there is another South Node and North Node moving in the heavens. So the South Node, with this unresolved collective karma, is in Pisces. And the North Node, with the healing remedy, is in Capricorn. So the unresolved karma, Pisces on the low end side, and I think that's what we're looking at here, is all this fake news we are bombarded with these days. So it's really hard to decide what's real and what isn't, and I have even stopped watching the news because it just makes me depressed. So I'm very careful and conscious what I do take into my energy field, and how I feed my mind, my consciousness. So okay, I've lost my train of thoughts here again. Sorry. Hi Sabina. Hi Diane. Good to see you. Yeah, it's always harder for me if I don't have the feeling there's somebody really listening there. So I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, so get ready with some questions down there. So, okay, let me see. What else I wanted to cover. Okay, I mean, the whole idea with these forecasts is for you to kind of correlate those energies back to your own birth chart, and where the planets are right now in the heaven, like the South Node and the North Node, and where that is happening in your chart. That's what's highlighted in your personal life. So with the South Node right now for all of us in Neptune, in Pisces, the low end is all the deception and all the betrayal and whatever we're looking at in the political landscape there. But the solution is also pointed out with the North Node in Virgo. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury, very grounded, very earthy, very organized. Virgo is a sign which pays a lot of attention to details. And we were already talking about decluttering, so here the decluttering really has to happen in our mind, in the way we perceive things, in the way we look at things. And I do believe most of us know that the world we individually live in is a very personal creation based on the choices we have made in the past, which brought us to the present moment. So we could say that our inner life is always reflected back in the outer life. So that's why I think astrology is so exciting, because it tells you where you need to make those choices in your inner life in order to get other reflections out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so with this time of deep thinking, I want to give you one other tool to play with, and these are the gemstones you can use for meditation, for helping you to program certain intentions and have them enhanced that way. So today it's still the crystal. So they grow in these groups, so you can tell how they kind of focus the energy in this hexagonal crystal structure onto the top of the crystal. So that's why it's a wonderful stone to really set intentions. I personally do work a lot with double terminated crystals, like the Capricorn diamond or just a normal double terminator. But I think for what we have been talking about with all the Capricorn energy, and that it's so important to find that focus, that direction, to be clear about those goals and intentions, you can then work with a single pointed crystal and program the energies into that. And then when you have it laying on your altar or you meditate with it, it will not only be an unconscious anchor in your own consciousness and help you to get more focused, but it will also enhance that frequency of focus and radiate that out into the world. So in general, we could say there are always three ways to work with crystals. One of it is to just bring them into your energy field, lay them on your third eye, and you will actually get a lot of information about the quality of the stone. Or you could just consciously wear jewelry you might have, and so you could consciously bring the energy into your field that way. Or some people put their crystals into a liquid and let the water pick up on the frequency and then drink the water. So those are two very convenient ways to work with a crystal. And then of course, if you have a crystal or a stone, you can just put it in your pocket and carry it around or play with it. I always have a stone to play with. So okay. Yeah, so I want to talk next week about the general forecast for the coming year, that will kind of set you up to really do that inner journey, to really figure out what to let go and where you reorient yourself into the new goal and where you want to go next year. Thank you, Diane. Good, good, good. Okay, so I think I gave you little things to work with. So declutter, learn to say no, set your boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries, and kind of contemplate what you need to let go in order to step into the next year. So very powerful. And I think fire and writing down what you want to let go and then burn it outside the house might be a good idea, is a very powerful process of transformation. So you want to play around with that. Okay, my dears, I hope you enjoy the winter solstice today. And thanks for visiting. Remember to like down there. And I see you next week. I think I'm going to skip the Saturday forecast. I don't think anybody wants to listen to that with the Christmas things going. So I'm just going to do Monday or Tuesday the preview and forecast for the coming year. Okay, my dears, all the best. Aloha, namaste.